Hi everyone. Before we continue learning Living on a Prayer, I want you to watch this video coming up about major and minor sounds.
On this relaxing afternoon, Jack, a lumberjack, is happily enjoying a bit of fresh air, while his friend Oliver, a bird, is listening to music, which has him in a different kind of mood. He's trying to understand what the difference is between major and minor. Jack notices that Oliver is puzzled and wants to help him understand. So that's exactly what he sets out to do. He starts out by explaining that major and minor are tools composers use to give their music a certain mood, atmosphere, or strength. Just as painters arrange colors on a palette, composers arrange notes into combinations of major and minor. Major and minor don't refer to single notes, but to the spaces between notes, how far notes are from each other, measured in whole steps and half steps. Some combinations of whole and half steps create the sound of major. And other combinations of whole and half steps create the sound of minor. Oliver wonders what exactly whole steps and half steps are. Jack explains that on a keyboard, every half step is just one note away from its nearest neighbor, right next door. And every whole step is 2 notes away, 2 doors down. Next, he shows Oliver a picture of a keyboard to demonstrate to him what a major chord looks and sounds like. Now here's a major chord turning into a minor chord with a different mix of notes. Can you hear the difference? Jack has an idea. He pulls out his music device to play Oliver some examples of music composed in major and minor. He tells Oliver to let his imagination run wild as he listens to the music. First, some music composed in major. Next, some music in minor. Now Jack plays some more music composed in major. And finally, Jack plays a second piece composed in, there we go, a second piece composed in minor. As Jack packs everything up, Oliver ponders how major usually sounds happy, sunny, triumphant, or stable. Minor, on the other hand, often sounds bittersweet, sad, sometimes even scary or unsettled, and sometimes lovely. There are many more exciting things for Oliver to learn about major and minor, but for now, he's off to a fantastic start.
That was really interesting, full of information which will help us with our learning today. We're going to be thinking about the chords in the chorus of Living on a Prayer. What are chords, I hear you ask? Well, a chord is 2 or more notes played at the same time. What's the point in chords, I hear you ask? Well, chords give texture and rhythms to songs. For example, the melody by itself may sound a little empty. But the chords add more layers, more texture, and more interest. Here's a picture of what a C major chord looks like written down on musical notation. We've got the C with the line through it, the E for every on the first line, and the G on the next line for green. We call the bottom note here the root note. It's the name of the chord, C. Sometimes it's useful to think of it in terms of numbers. So if C is 1, we don't play D, which is 2. We play the 3, which is E, and we don't play the 4th, which is F, and we play the 5th, which is G. C, E, G. And we can see that, what it would look like on the piano. C, E, and G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That shape is going to be really useful to us today. Now, I've written the chords where they occur in the melody in these boxes. These are the root notes that you need to know. If you look carefully, we've got an E minor, a C major, a D major, and a G major. Those are the 4 chords you're going to need because these ones are repetitions. Now, really observant people will notice that the top line is the same as the bottom. So once you've got the top, you've got the bottom as well. I've got your little diagrams here of the notes you'll need for each chord on the keyboard. Notice that this shape that we saw on the C major is really useful because it's the same on E minor, C major, and G major. Now here, the D major, rather than going D, F, A, it goes D, F sharp, A. And that's because of our F sharp in the key signature, which we talked about last week. So the F's in the melody are sharp and this F in the chord here is sharp. So this week, I want you to play around with those chords. I want you to listen to the difference between the minor, the one with the M is minor. I want you to listen to the difference between the E minor and all the others, which are majors. You might want to play around with the chords and write your own little tune with them. I want you to practice them in the order they are here, and we'll talk more about the rhythms and fitting it all together next week. Have fun practicing the chords. Bye!